Hello, scholars. My name is Mr. Benzel, and I'm a geometry teacher over at Huron High School. And we are going to be discussing today the Flipped Classroom 2.0, 2021 edition. So what I mean by that is that we are going to continue with the Flipped Classroom this year. If you were with Huron High School math course last year, you may remember it. But we are going to be making some modifications based off of the fact that we are in person now. So why are we doing the flipped classroom, and what are some of the goals? One thing that I think is actually a silver lining for the flipped classroom is that the direct instruction is done at your own pace rather than the pace of the teacher. So maybe before the pandemic, if the teacher was going too fast, you would kind of like fall behind and maybe not be able to catch back up with your notes. But with having the videos on, you can go at your own pace. And you can actually, in multiple ways, show how you learned the material with your notes. And with that, I'm also putting the responsibility on you for summarizing the course material. And when you go to college, you are going to have to summarize the material that you are learning in class. Or even if you're in a job and the manager is telling you to do something, you are going to have to be able to summarize what you heard. Also, we are going to give you some more time for questions and reflection during class as well. And also have the class time be a time when you can practice the different skills with the teacher in there to help you. And most importantly, we want to make you in charge of your learning. And of course, we are happy to help you. And your classmates will also be happy to help you as well. All right, so step one in the flipped classroom, this is done before the start of the next class, and that is developing foundations through note-taking. So there will be an instructional video that's about 15 minutes or so that you will be watching before the next class, and you will need to take your own notes. And those notes should include the vocabulary. So I think vocabulary is one of the most important foundations in the course, and specific worked out examples. So this is an actual example of a geometry skill. Hey, recognize that picture? Me. I took a screenshot of it, and you can actually see a picture and a sample problem as well that you can add. And these are some examples of some high quality notes. So some people like to write them down on a piece of paper, even make them colorful. That even helps with the visualizing. And some people actually go and take screenshots and then kind of write some summaries up on top as well. And both of these ways are perfectly good ways of note taking. And I look forward to seeing what is working for you. So feel free to talk to your teacher if you are having issues with note taking, as we can be super creative in getting you a good way to be an effective note taker this year. Step two, this is the first part of class. This is reflection and guided practice. So you will be starting class with a sort of a Google form or whiteboard bell work, and you should be working on your bell work in your seat. And then after the bell work, we will have time for questions over the material, whether it be the bell work or the video of the previous night. And we will also have some whiteboard problems that will be kind of some guided practice to give you, kind of that continuous feedback, and also some modeling of some problems as well during the class time. Step three, this is going to be the second part of class. And This is practicing purposefully with Delta Math. So we are going to give you a substantial amount of class time, maybe about 30 or 40 minutes or so, where you are going to be practicing Delta Math. And you may be wondering, here, I took a screenshot of a student who actually made over 100 mistakes this summer. Actually, she made almost 150 mistakes, and she got 74% of the problems attempted correct, and she ended up with an A in the class and an 85 on the final exam. And you may be wondering, how is that occurring? Well, the best people at Delta Math are the people who are practicing, making mistakes, but then learning from them. And what you can see here is that she watched the videos and took good quality notes from them. And then she got lots of practice. Even if she got the problem wrong, she got lots of practice. And then she got into a position where she got the questions correct eventually. And actually on this unit, when she took the mastery, she did actually end up with a high B on this unit mastery assessment. So if you get the right number of questions correct eventually, even if you had like all those X's, you do actually get into a position of full credit eventually. So it is in your best interest to practice. And if you are not getting it 100%, actually taking the time to watch the instructional videos and getting the feedback on Delta Math. And eventually you'll get into a pattern where you are able to get those check marks. And with that, I will show you a few best practices to keep in mind. So obviously, if you got a check mark, you can record the shown work in your notebook and try a problem out as much as you want, even if you got 100% on that scale. And if you got an X, you could have an X simply because maybe you had a typo. Maybe you rounded to the wrong number of decimal places. So that is, I thought I got it, but I got an X. If you are starting to get it, but maybe having a little trouble getting past the first step, maybe you want to consider reading the solution and paying attention to the thought process that is going on. So they actually do show you the solutions to the problems after you are done. And you also want to make sure that you are checking and making sure that you're comfortable with the calculator. And if you really don't know where to begin, you may want to go and rewatch the video, or you can simply ask me or whoever your teacher is, and you can ask me in class. You can even email me, and I will be kind of circulating around the room as well. And I would love it if you keep me and maybe some of the people around you busy by allowing to ask a question. And I would be glad to kind of walk you through the problem as well. All right, and then the last step, every 2 weeks or so, we will have a mastery, and it will be graded on the 4-point mastery scale. And we will actually put the problems on paper this year, because I am a firm believer in the thought process is just as important, if not more important, than the final answer. So it is entirely possible that you could get the wrong answer, but if you had a really good thought process, you could actually do quite well on the mastery assignments. So with that, please feel free to reach out to me if you have me, or your teacher. And we are looking forward to continuing the flipped classroom, but enhancing it in this post-pandemic in-person world. So best of luck this school year.